Hello，
This gym bully just got humbled. This gym bully just got humbled. This gym bully just got humbled. This bully just got humbled. This man just saved the woman's life. Oh man, you good? Why you balling her? You go home. No, you not get better than me. You go down, not too bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll knock you out 1 point. Go ahead. Go ahead. Leave her alone. This man just saved the woman's life. Oh man, you good? Why you balling her? You go home. No, you not get better than me. You go down, not too bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll knock you out 1 point. Go ahead. Go ahead. Leave her alone. This man just saved the woman's life. Oh man, you good?
I didn't think it was possible to fit this tire by hand. He even puts his whole body weight into it, but it's still not enough. Then his friend gives it a go, and this happens. I didn't think it was possible to.
He's like, man, I'm gonna look at him. This is in the 1980s. What? Look at this one. Wow. Look at this. Look at him climb. There's not even. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Jesus Christ, this guy's a construction worker, and he's like an athlete. Watch when he comes down. He's like, man, I'm gonna look at him. This is in the 1980s. What? Look at this one. Wow. Look at this. Look at him climb. There's not even. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? This is the most. This Are you trying to get evidence with the stand against President Trump that was false? What is this committee emergency case without issue? Are you trying to get evidence with the stand against President Trump that was false? What is this committee emergency case without issue? Are you trying to get evidence for you guys? I'm gonna let you. I posted a video for Trump on my personal. Looking for the fastest online. If you sleep, you'll get fired. While the soldiers are asleep, their commander tries to steal their rifle. If he succeeds, they'll do 200 push-ups. But this next soldier picked. How much is it? What do you mean it's not real? It's not. That is real. It was our president like last year or something. You playing games? You playing games. That's not real. Is this not real? There's Donald Trump on that deal. So my mom was joking with me. So mother did that. How much is it? Hello. He's the best fighter in the world, and despite looking like a super. Oh my God. Fans' responses were razor sharp. Sheldon just confirmed the deep state is terrified. It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we've seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country.
Oh my God. Fans' responses were razor sharp. Sheldon just confirmed the deep state is terrified. It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a Trump's nominee to lead the Pentagon in limbo.
Pete Hegseth's former sister-in-law, Danielle Hegseth.
This guy wanted to show everyone how tough he was, but instead, he ended up going to sleep early. He was harassing some guys who clearly didn't want to fight. At first, they tried to calm him down, while other people were throwing some stuff at him. He then decided to back off, but he quickly changed his mind and went right back at them, getting physical once again. He clearly didn't understand that they didn't want to get involved. So, in the end, someone decided to explain the solution in his own language. This guy wanted to show everyone how tough he was, but instead, empower your students to be. Jordan Peterson completely destroyed this woke interview. Originally, the idea that women were oppressed by history is an appalling theory. I haven't had a great time, but who has had a great time in history? Men have had less of them. Really? Have they? Have they? By what standard? Well, I have to say, how about war? Yeah, but it's long that women to get the vote and women belong to their husbands. Well, first of all, history is a rough business. Everybody had it rough. In 1895, the typical Westerner lived on less than $1 a day. It was absolute poverty by today's standards. People were brutally poor for almost the entire course of human history. Say, well, did men and women have it worse? That's a complicated question. But one of the things you can say is everybody had it pretty damn bad. Jordan Peterson completely destroyed this woke interview. Originally, the idea that women were oppressed by history is an appalling. I want to talk about a couple of things today. You are our top diplomat. That's not in dispute. Have you been in Afghanistan since 13 American service members were murdered? So we got a new president, and guess what? Stanford is standing. Imagine you vote for a guy because you think he's going to bring.
Anti-freeze snow remover made in Germany.
When this UFC champion met his longtime coach, who helped him become one of the best fighters in the world, he was about to do something insane for him. Because when Alex Pereira became champion, he surprised his coach Glover Teixeira with his dream motorbike, and just watch how he reacts to the gift. When this UFC champion met his longtime coach, who helped him become one of the best fighters. Senator called out the abundant hypocrisy of this immigration activist. How many illegal immigrants being deported by the new administration would you find objective? Mr. Melnick, I'll ask you, 1 million?
I think 1 million would be a disaster.
2 million?
I think that is enough that would have severe negative ramifications.
I'm not reading what Trump intends to do. I'm reading exactly what President Barack Obama did. So you said President Obama was immoral and inappropriate to deport those 1 million people. Is that what I heard you say?
There were many times they deported.
I would really appreciate if you could go out and say that President Obama did a horrible disservice to those people he deported, and he's as wrong-minded as every other Republican who said we've got to secure the border, deport people, because you can't have one being okay and the other one not being okay. This senator called out the abundant hypocrisy of this immigration activist. How many elite?
What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment? It depends on who you ask, but I would say it was cutting child poverty in half.
She did that?
The Biden administration, her and Biden did that, yes. Well, that was,
How did she do that?
so the child tax credit, basically, for COVID,
Oh, you mean the one from the Trump tax cut?
it's not from the Trump tax credit.
That is actually, yeah, it's actually from the tax cut from December of 2017. The one that Kamala Harris is running against is the one that you're touting right now.
It's not, let me just last, but
No,
I encourage everyone to look up the child tax credit right now on your phones.
yeah, the child tax credit was part of.
And look on what bill was passed, look what year it was passed.
It was during the, 2017, literally. Donald Trump expanded the child tax credit, 2017. What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment, I think it's
I thought the exchange just a moment ago with Senator Hirono was illustrative. She asked you how you would respond if the president asked you to target his political enemies. It's striking because it's not hypothetical. It has happened over the last 4 years. And I think perhaps the most tragic legacy of the Biden-Harris administration has been the politicization and the weaponization of that lady who got into it with Trump. That's so crazy.
Argument if it's bought yourself some time, you didn't use it to prepare hospitals, you didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now,
You still just play.
unemployed.
You still just play the way you said it. Let me just, listen, I just went over it.
To make people.
I just went over it.
Unprecedented fight.
You know you're fake. You know that your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake. And most of you, and not all of you, but the people who lies to you. That's why you have a lower approval rating than you've ever had before, times probably 3. That lady who got into it with Trump. That's so crazy.
Argument is if you bought yourself some time.
The moment the Japanese fighter was overpowered, the entire audience began to fear for his life. This was one of the most size-discrepant matches in MMA history. Butterbean, a heavyweight slugger, boasted a career high of 47 consecutive victories. With 378 pounds of fat pressing down on the Japanese warrior, even breathing became a struggle for him. Yet Butterbean was a boxer, not adept at MMA's ground techniques. He lacked diverse offensive tactics, but his fat served as his greatest weapon. As the crowd presumed, the Japanese fighter's defeat was inevitable. The tide of battle suddenly turned 180 degrees. Even when gaining the dominant position, the vast size difference rendered the Japanese fighter powerless against Butterbean. The Japanese warrior attempted to restrict his opponent's breathing, but he seemed to forget that Butterbean had no neck to choke. However, everyone has weaknesses, and Butterbean was no exception.
but now we're,
You're lying about the terms. Am I? Tell me what I'm lying about.
He said socialists don't believe people should own.
When socialism is put in practice the last 100 years, they abolished private property, correct?
You owning 4 different factories.
Which is great. I employ a bunch of people and they can have benefits. Send their kids to school, put food on the table. There's nothing wrong with someone owning a factory or a business.
That idiot Karen quickly found out that he's the instant karma. Karen is being escorted out of a roller rink for being obnoxiously loud and aggressive. However, she still isn't embarrassed enough to even try to fight the storm. But the Karen is about to learn a very valuable lesson. Moments later, the Blue Avengers finally arrive to the scene to neutralize the situation. That idiot Karen quickly found out that
issue is that you, the child of Indian immigrants, are now accusing some immigrants of carrying out an invasion of the United States.
watch Vivek dismantle Al Sharpton with pure facts.
As president, you would make it more difficult for children of immigrants born here to participate in the political process. The floor is yours to explain all about it.
So you know what's really kind of funny about this? That you draw a distinction between legal and illegal immigrants like it doesn't exist. My parents came to this country illegally through the front door, followed the rules, paid their taxes, raised 2 kids. Both of us went on to found companies that helped thousands of Americans. But that also means that your first act of entering this country cannot break the law.
The issue is that you, the child of Indian immigrants, the mayor said about
I got 2 words. The great leadership of
This liberal woman thought she could save the illegal immigrants from getting deported, but Tom Homan, the border czar, has something else to say.
Portland Public Schools employees, contractors, volunteers, and representatives will not use district resources for the purpose of detecting or assisting in the apprehension of persons whose only violation of law is or may be an undocumented resident in the United States, or failing to produce documents authorizing residency in the United States. Just a reminder that there are no current plans for mass deportation or other action, but we're doing everything that we can to be prepared should this become the case.
So these Democratic governors, so they're gonna stand in the way, they're gonna make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion, it's not gonna help us get the hell out of the break when we're going through it. So if we take the assistance from New York City, and I may have to, the media have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you already.
This is the movement, don't you could say they're leaving. This man started sweating when he was scolded, just like a little school kid.
We'll be able to review hundreds of cases on day one.
I will look at every file I have
Of course
asked
you
to
won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I ask you a question?
Well, my question.
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you will. I'm not gonna mislead this body, nor you. You know what we should be worried about?
Ms.
The
Bonner, please,
climate
answer
in
my question.
California right now
You are
is
aware-
so rude. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I want to, I won't play politics with any ongoing
So let me ask you
investigation.
another.
I see this
Let me-
here.
The person who came up with tunnel warfare was incredibly clever. American soldiers fighting in the tunnels had to be extremely cautious, as they risked being impaled by sharp spikes. The Vietnamese soldiers would pop up for a quick attack, firing a few shots, and by the time the Americans could react, they would already disappear back into the tunnels. The entrances to these tunnels were so well hidden that they were nearly impossible to find.
Can I help you?
Oh, no,
I see that, but this is my house and it's my project.
it'll be like 20 minutes.
It's the,
What?
You consider yourself a feminist?
As a night began, yes.
Liberals have started questioning Van Doom's loyalty after he started smiling at Scott Jennings' answer about Kamala Harris.
On this Harris business, I think before we canonize St. Calmly here on the high holy day of January 6th, remember the Electoral Count Reform Act of 2022 makes it perfectly clear that the vice president has nothing but purely ministerial duties on the stage. He didn't actually certify the result of the election. That is done by the voters.
It was clear as day 4 years ago as well, but because of the.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the reason I canonized it, the same thing was told there. Put out a video trying to canonize himself.
Liberals have started questioning Van Doom's loyalty after he started smiling at Scott.
That gotta be the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my entire life, in the life to come.
It was unbelievable. I thought it was fake news. He said that California's woke politics and DEI are the reasons for the fires because Newsom has been tearing down dams because
Looking for the fastest online
Obviously, I've gotten closer to Team Trump in the past year than I ever have been.
Watch closely. On the beach, this senator exposes the hypocrisy and double standards in how Democrats allow or block nominees based solely on their party affiliation rather than their capability and merit.
Mr. Chairman, could you tell me what the qualifications are for the Secretary of Defense?
I'll read it.
After this mayor found out about the very inappropriate books given for kids, he came to the school board meeting and made sure to set things straight.
Board, my name is Craig Schubert, mayor of this city. It has come to my attention, your educators are distributing essentially what is found in the classroom. Spoken to a judge this evening, he's already confirmed that. I'm going to give you a simple choice. You can choose to resign from this Board of Education or you will be charged. Thank you.
After this mayor found out, remember when Hillary tried to call out President Donald Trump at a live debate and quick thinking Trump hit back with a perfect response?
fact check it in real time. Last time at the first debate, we had millions of people fact checking, so I expect we'll have millions more fact checking because it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'll be in jail.
Remember when Hillary tried to call out President Donald Trump at a live debate and quick thinking Trump hit back?
Two drunk guys were messing around and found out the hard way. Unsatisfied with the service at a kebab restaurant, one of them
This is how U.S. Marines pass through barbed wire. First, this small anchor-like thing is thrown, and a soldier pulls the rope to shake the wire in case a booby trap or something dangerous is attached to it. Afterward, a soldier with a wooden plank jumps onto it, creating a bridge for his comrades. This is how U.S. Marines pass through barbed wire. First, this small anchor-like thing is thrown, and a soldier pulls the rope to shake the wire in case a booby trap or something dangerous is attached to it.
Take it away. But the taking part from the former National Security Advisor John Bolton's security clearance yesterday. There's just
It's enough time. Take a job. You take a job, you want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them. He was a warmonger.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing. Thanks to the witnesses for being here. Mr. Beer, a quick question. Have you visited with or met Alexis Nungaray?
Not to my knowledge.
You haven't sat down and talked to Alexis Nungaray. Alexis Nungaray was my guest. Was my guest. One of the balls. Like daughter Jocelyn was murdered last July. Her 13-year-old beautiful little girl was murdered by individuals associated with TDA, dangerous gang of Venezuela, who were released by this administration. This administration, who I should say, the previous administration, the Biden administration, the one we're referring to. The Biden administration released these individuals onto the streets of Texas. And now Alexis' daughter is no longer with us. Alexis chose life when she was a 14-year-old little girl. Alexis is only 28.